Well, I'm not going to have a whole bunch of time, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to get down to it. Let's do it quick. Let's, phrasing. Let's do the episode in a swift manner. You're already wasting time. In 2004, I suffered a debilitating back injury that herniated a couple discs, which of course deteriorate over time. And now, 20 odd years later, I have almost no disc between my L5 vertebrae and my sacrum, which is the kind of the part of your hips where everything gets together. And so on Friday, I aggravated that. And on Saturday, I really finished it off. I was able to go to No Kings, which was great. I had to hobble around on my cane, and I couldn't hold a sign or anything, but I took the family. We participated in as much as we could, made noise, and got some literature and things like that while we were there. And of course, you got to sign up for stuff afterwards because that's what the point is, right? No Kings was a tremendous success over the weekend, even though I was badly injured going into it. And I have since received my first round of treatment. Tomorrow will be round 2. It may be a week or so. I'm in a bad way. Anyway, let's talk. I can't do much of anything at the right pace right now. It took me a half an hour to set up this recording space, and it's not the way I like it. And I'm kind of just like leaning against stuff. Anyway, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm the Trent from Trent Takes On, and this is Trent Takes On 2.0, and I just botched that entire thing. And yeah, we're just going to roll with it. Hey, everybody. How are you? I said I was going to come back on Friday, and, things happened. I said I wanted to come back on Friday to talk about No Kings. I did not. I did go to the protest right here locally. For me, it was about 2 blocks away, and it was about the same attendance as the last one. It was a different kind of vibe because it wasn't in the same exact place. It was spread out more, so it was a little different. I like the other version better, to be honest. Across the country, though, about 800 more events, over a million more participants. So we're now over 8 million in the active protest part of this resistance, and then there's the boycotting and all of the other things that are going on the side, as well as the local organizing and so on and so forth, and all of those things are what we have to do. And I keep reminding everybody that we'll win because there's no option for failure. We lose it all. So we're going to win, and the way we're going to win is not because we're going to galvanize behind some like rando leader. It's not going to be like, Robert De Niro really makes a lot of sense and everybody should listen to Robert De Niro. No, I mean, De Niro's part of it. Springsteen's part of it. There's lots of celebrities that have come out and said, hey, this ain't right. There's tons of stuff that the government has done wrong over the years. And this new regime really has just exacerbated everything, made everything so dramatically worse. I think the war is really probably the tipping point, though. I think that's the thing that people are not going to be able to ignore, because you can't ignore what happens at the gas pump, right? Like, I'm positive that Trump was reelected because Biden wasn't able to control inflation. And I've got bad news for anyone who thinks that the president can control inflation. They can't. So I'm pretty positive Trump's not going to be able to control inflation because he can't. What you can do as president is exacerbate the problem pretty easily, it turns out. Doing things like causing a global oil shortage by attacking a major producer and who happens to have access to the one waterway that a whole bunch of other producers use. I mean, 20% of the crude oil that comes that's used in the world comes out of the Persian Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz, which is controlled by Iranian military, not regular military either. We're talking like secret military people. They look like civilians, but they have rockets and mines and little drones and things like that they can take down these giant tankers pretty easily. So it's not very profitable to send your oil through there right now. And when 20% of the world's oil supply is choked off, the remaining 80%, the demand for that goes up, so the price goes up everywhere. And even though the United States isn't an importer, technically speaking, we're a global exporter. We export more crude than we import. We still are subject to the same pricing that happens on a world market. And this is a commodity that's used everywhere. If Japan's going to give you $140 a barrel for it and you can only get $100 for it in the States, well, you're going to put it on boats and ship it to Japan because that's how it works. It's worth it. See what I'm saying? So we pay more at the pump here. And people aren't going to be able to avoid that. And Donald Trump may think that he can control some of this gas. He can't. He can't. And the thing about companies, these big old giant ass companies, is when they can make the extra buck, they make the extra buck. So prepare yourself for that. You're not going to be able to hide from it. Even if you don't want to participate in politics, you're going to get dragged in because politics are coming for your pocketbook. These kind of regressive price changes, they affect consumers far more than anyone else. And we're talking, the 95% of America that lives in that doesn't live in $1 million houses and in fine, what do you call them? Housing additions. They affect the people who rent, the people who live paycheck to paycheck, the people who struggle living paycheck to paycheck. Their gas goes up. The cost of everything goes up because the cost of transport goes up. You're not going to be able to sit this one out. And let me tell you how it's going to shake down. It's going to be, hey, the rich are doing really well and they don't give a damn about us versus the not rich. Us, us ground level peeps. That's how it's going to work. And I hate to break this to the rich, but there's more of us than there are of you. And this has happened over and over again over the course of history. If you know your world history, you may notice we don't all speak Latin and we aren't all members of the Roman Catholic Church because the Roman Empire fell because greedy people at the top kept taking more and more and more for themselves until the system collapsed. That's happened a lot over the course of history. And the more greed you have and the more concentration of wealth at the top, the quicker the thing falls apart. And we are in a bad way right now from a wealth distribution standpoint. And billionaires have made their play. They bought their government. And now that the Republicans are in charge of everything, they're basically wrecking every part of it. How do you destroy government? You take away its means by which that it can provide for the people. So they've choked it off. They're running at debts and a deficit that's so out of control. I can't even get into the finances of the United States right now. We owe way too much money to the rest of the world. And now they're talking about getting an extra $200 billion for the military for this war in Iran that no one voted for. And the Republicans' big plan is they're going to take money out of healthcare and healthcare assistance. So we don't have enough money to treat our own sick. but we certainly have enough money to drop bombs on foreign countries. All of this is going to end poorly for Republicans because it's the way it works. For the people in charge, for the people who just go along, you know what? It's not going to end well for you. It never does. It never does. When you see things like No Kings, it really acts as a reminder that the momentum is everything. There was huge momentum against the establishment when Clinton and Trump ran against each other in 2016. Clinton was the choice of the establishment, and Donald Trump was the outsider who was going to change everything for the everyday man. Of course, it was all a fucking lie, but that's what he promised. And they didn't deliver on that. They actually shredded an economy that was going great by failing to deal with a pandemic, which, you know, we just keep having Trump in power at the wrong times, that's for sure. But I would argue there isn't a good time to have him in power because this number of crises, the second time around, they're all generated by Trump and the regime. They're creating this problem. And it's going to be hard to fix all this stuff. It's going to be real hard to fix all this stuff. And people are going to have their patience tested again. But the momentum just keeps swinging back and forth. You know, Trump lost in 2020 by over 7 million votes because people were mad that he had fucked up the pandemic response so badly. And they were right to be mad. They kept telling us, remember, when it first showed, the first cases came to the States in March of 2020, February 2020. He said it'll be over in 4 weeks. It'll be done 4 weeks. Wrong. He was just the worst possible person to have in charge when an emergency struck. And then we got Biden, and the Democrats put everything back together. They got the money out. They got the shots in the arms. They got the stimulus out to keep us from having a spiraling out of control, bad inflationary landing. And we still had an inflationary landing, but the rest of the world was worse. But the United States is filled with impatient people. So impatient that they welcomed back the man who on January 6, 2021 inspired a riot to attack the seat of government in this country, which is Congress. To flood into the building itself, to smear their own feces on the walls, to steal the Speaker of the House's lectern, to rifle through the desks of our elected members, to defile and deface our seat of government. It's gross. And because Americans are so impatient and so angry over things that they don't necessarily understand, they brought Trump back rather than vote for the nice pantsuit lady part 2. And here we go. More lies, more backstabbing. But the difference is this time he's a lame duck and he knows it. He can't run again, so he might as well just break the system entirely and then stay in power. That's the plan, kids. It's not going to work, but that's the plan. Just break it all so that I can stay in power and everything will be okay. His health is failing. The people around him are sycophants and morons, and they can't give him a straight answer because he refuses to hear negative news. He refuses to hear bad news. Reminds me of a song from The Wiz. Don't bring me no bad news. I'm in a lot of pain. It's hard to do things like regular things. Standing up, sitting down. Those are rough. Sleeping, really tough. Forget about taking a shower. It's like next to impossible. Holy crap. Also, I'm terrified I'm going to slip and fall. Take care of your back, kids. You only get one. So make sure that you take care of it and preserve it as best you can. I have a cane that I'm using. I have a back brace. I have lumbar support in my chair. I have heating pads and ice packs, and I'm ready to go. I've been treating myself as well as I can, but man, once this happens, it's a week. I'm out. If not lying, I have to remember to take it easy when I come back. But that's enough about me. Sometimes the pain really gets the best of me, and it's all I can think about, and I'll lose my train of thought because that sucks. Their plan is just to break everything and stay in power, and it's not going to work. We're not going to put up with that. Are you kidding? Are you joking? Nobody's going to put up with that. Nobody. They want to threaten us with ICE. No. The fear of ICE is really falling away, isn't it? The fear of ICE is kind of falling away. I'm positive that the threat is still there for people of color. Positive. I don't want to downplay that at all. But as far as ICE versus all the rest of us, not so much. There ain't enough of you guys. You're not big enough. Also, you're all out of shape. We know that because they've been in airports for the last week, getting in the way and doing nothing. Idiots. It's all theater. It's all performance. It's all nonsense. All you have to do to understand how perfectly worthless this regime is and how awful Trump is. He's insisting on putting his name on everything. His name, his face, whatever he can do. They've got these giant fascist banners on the Department of Justice, and all these federal buildings in DC have these giant, look at Donald Trump, he's protecting you. It's very Big Brother. It's very bullshit. It's very Orwellian bullshit. And he's putting his name on money. Has signature on the printed money now. And they're making special coins to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the United States with Donald Trump on them. Even though there's a law in the United States that says we're not allowed to put living presidents on money. Put it on the list, right? Put it on the list. Put it on the list. Puts his name on the buildings. He put his picture on the annual pass for the national parks. If you watch John Oliver just got an upgrade. If you watch John Oliver this week, he went over Trump putting his face on the annual pass of the national parks, which really there's a law that says that the annual pass for the national parks is always the winner of the photography contest from the year before. They'd already announced the winner was going to be and Trump changed it. Against the law. Again, put it on the list. Put it on the list. Every one of these little bullshit things that he does, man. Every one of them, from the ballroom to the arc that he wants to be the biggest in the world in DC, the Trump arc. These are the actions of a man whose mortality is staring him in the face, and he knows that his legacy is going to be garbage. His name will forever be associated with the dismantling and the destruction of the greatest experiment in democracy in the history of humankind. Donald Trump destroyed it all for his ego. We're going to have to put it back together, of course, and it won't be the same way it was before. We're going to have to make massive reforms. But Donald Trump's legacy is secure. The worst president, let's just change it, the worst presidents in U.S. history. I always claimed it was Reagan before Trump, by the way. Because if you look at the damage that was done to the systems, everything from unionized workers when Reagan fired the air traffic controllers and banned them from ever working in the industry again, to the deregulation of companies, allowing them to gamble with their employees' futures in the 401k program, or the way they changed the way the stock market works. Reagan broke all the systems, but Trump is a worse president. He was a worse president the first time around, and he shattered his own record the second time around as he continues to try to tear down democracy itself. And in between the worst two presidencies in history, we had poor Joe Biden, who tried desperately to put everything back together in a tiny, tiny time frame and was unable to. And an impatient country threw all that work in the garbage because they bought the con of a con man. Also, Joe was really old and he had to be convinced to get out of the race, which happened way too late. Kamala Harris only had 107 days to campaign for president, which was problematic at best. But poor old Joe, man, the media didn't give him a chance, did they? It was nonstop. This guy's too old. This guy doesn't have it anymore. Where's that same media now, for the record? Donald Trump is completely senile. Completely. You watch one of his events and you're like, what the fuck? He doesn't even speak English anymore. It's pure gibberish salad every time out. He says he can't call it a war because if he calls it a war, he has to get permission for it. So it's called this. You just admitted that you've launched a war without congressional approval and you knew that you needed it. He said that literally last week at an event. I stress this over and over again that we have to pay attention. We can't just, play video games nonstop or just, watch 1,087 episodes of One Piece, the anime. We have to stay engaged at least a bit. Now, you should take your time. By all means, take your time. You've got to do what's right for yourself as far as your sanity goes, but you can't disconnect entirely. And some people will be able to phone bank, and some people will be able to write letters or postcards. Some people will be able to knock doors. Right now, I don't know that I'm good for anything, but I can still do this, right? I can still reach out to you this way and say, hey, don't forget, share old Trent with a friend, because we need people to talk like this if we're going to get through it. We need people to be honest and fearless and, well, maybe not fearless, but fearless isn't a good thing to be. Brave is good. Fearless is bad. Fearless is acting foolishly in the face of fear. Bravery is acting even though you're scared. But it's not necessarily foolish. I think fearlessness is, largely. That's a good way to get yourself in trouble. Have an appropriate amount of fear. I do. I just want so badly to get to the other end of this. And if you listen to this show, you are right there with me. I want to get to the other end of this where I don't have to worry about my own government working against my best interests at every turn. And that's what they're doing. Stealing opportunities for the future, stealing the future itself. I mean, Every time you turn around, they're doing something to dismantle democracy, to dismantle science, to dismantle the health industry, to dismantle the education industry. Every industry, those shouldn't be industries. Those should be communities. Education and healthcare, those shouldn't be, we shouldn't be profiting off those things. Those should be available to everyone. Call me a socialist if you want. But if you call me a socialist, I'm going to point to the Declaration of Independence in 1776 when they foolishly said that everyone was created equal and we all have certain unalienable rights like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life. That sounds like healthcare, doesn't it? Life. Sounds like healthcare, doesn't it? Liberty. Oh, that's like justice. That's like having freedoms. Yeah, that's good. Justice shouldn't be. How about pursuit of happiness? Huh? How about the education that you can get so you can be a good, upstanding member of the community, that you can grow into whatever you want? How about the opportunity there? See, that's what this country's supposed to be built on. Not whatever this bullshit is. Mass deportations, foreign wars, don't tax the rich. Fuck all, man. They're stealing from us all the time. Everything that the right warned that the left would do, the right has done. They did it themselves. Everything except take away people's guns. Of course, go to a conservative or Republican conference. Do they let you wear your gun there? Nope. No guns allowed, man. They talk a big game. They talk about how important absolute free speech is, yet they censor everybody who speaks up against them. That's what I'm talking about. This isn't over. No Kings is a reminder of that. But everybody from No Kings has to go out and do their own part. And that doesn't necessarily mean walking the streets and knocking on doors. It doesn't necessarily mean phone banking. It doesn't necessarily mean doing voter registration drives. It does mean reaching out to the people in your world, in your life, that may not be aligned one way or the other. And saying, hey, I don't like anything that's going on right now, any of this government nonsense. How do you feel about it? Maybe there's something we can do together that makes it better. You know, we can reach out to our friends and our family and say, hey, Donald Trump and the Republicans lied to you and they broke the system that you depend on. They don't deserve your support anymore. Or they deserve worse. They need to be held to account for the things that they've done, for the corruption and the abuses of power. It's going to be a long, it's April. It's almost April. Tomorrow's April, which is nice. But it's going to be a long 7 months as we prepare for this the most important election in the history of our country. Again, every one of the last, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. This will be 26, 6 in a row, right? 6 in a row. Most important election in our history. Shit. And it is. It's true. It's been true every time. And we've won some and lost some. So think about that. Let's get it together. Thank you for being with me on this journey. It's crazy at times, and I'm not the young man that could bounce off the walls and pretty much do everything that I wanted to do in my 20s and 30s, where I was essentially bulletproof. I'm far from bulletproof anymore. Guys, I'm far from bulletproof anymore. But I appreciate you hearing me out and spreading the good word and understanding when I'm a little bit behind the the calendar as I try to fight through the you still got to live a life. I still got a day job. It's not the regular kind of day job. It's a special kind of day job, but I still have stuff that I have to do every day to keep my family going. So, thank you again. I will be back soon, hopefully, be in traction most of this week. But I'll be back soon. I couldn't get together with George last week. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get together with him this week because I'm injured now. So, damn it. No Plan, No Problem is still out there. If you want to check it out, you can also check out back episodes of this show right here, going back to, the time when it wasn't doomsday all the time. Back when I thought we were really gonna really win this thing in 24. Yeah, I was wrong there. I was wrong. I said the polling was wrong. Shouldn't have done that. Polling was right. I didn't like it, but it happened. Thought for sure people would I don't know. I was just hoping. I was wish casting. Fuck all. Man, that hurts. But anyway, there's lots of great shows out there that you can listen to and support independent media in the process. So be a part of that, please. I appreciate you all so very, very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please don't forget to share me with a friend, and don't forget to get your whistles and be a good ally. Reach out. Until next time, be good humans. It's the least we can do. And I love you.